Alright guys, transfer season is just about ending. That is the January transfer window. There's a few days left before it officially closes, but deals have been done. What deals have caught your eye? What do you think has been interesting or has a lot of potential in terms of clubs acquiring players, or which players' move has excited you and you're expecting something from that particular player? I'll go first. Rumored, and I think it's about to be concluded, Adama Traore to Barca. That has surprised me, because in the last 2 seasons, Traore has scored a grand total of just 3 goals, 2 assists. I don't know what Barca are doing with that player, because he's no longer that guy who was running past everyone and doing the magic stuff. Barca have proven to do bad business with Coutinho, Griezmann, Dembele. This is by far, for me, if it gets concluded, the worst business of all, because I am expecting nothing. The only good thing he can do is surprise me, and I'll be happy if he does surprise me. But yes, that has caught my eye, because I don't know who else was in the race for Traore and why. So Tula, if there's any business that you've been overlooking over this January window, what has caught your eye?
Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Aston Villa.
They're not moving like a big 6 cloud, eh?
They doing what's that team? Newcastle is supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
You know, Coutinho, Lucas Digne. Now they got who did they get in now?
Chambers
from Arsenal for nothing.
Overnight.
By
the way, nothing reported.
But if you listen to the Danny Ings interview, he said apparently at Villa they literally tell you if they don't want it, like you're not allowed to even tell your wife.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how you run a club. See, you're not out here talking for everyone to just Yeah.
So for me.
Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about another job.
So for me, Coutinho, I'm interested in seeing how he's gonna sort of revive his career at Villa, because I think a nice club to do that, you know, small club, allows him to sort of, come back up and allow Barca to scam people for Coutinho in the summer. Honestly speaking, because they have that 40 million clause in his contract. So I hope Villa don't fall for that, because I don't want to say Coutinho is finished, because he's not finished. The goal against United, that was just United being poor.
United at this point.
Yeah. So for me, it's definitely Villa. What they're currently doing, that's a nice project. And Newcastle, I'm actually liking. The only one is Chris Wood. I don't get what's going on there.
I don't understand that either.
I
mean, when they're going again, after the names that we've heard mentioned at centre back and in midfield, and then they complete the puzzle, or they started the puzzle, Chris Wood up top.
Or you know what they could be doing? Sundowns tactic. Just weaken the opposition. If you get Burnley and player down, that's one less team to beat for the relegation battle. So, I mean, if they weaken them, maybe it works in their favour that way.
Yeah, that one was weird, because also I look at Eddie Howe, I'm like, is that how you play football? I don't think that's how you play football. Yeah.
Nah.
You don't. Yeah, you had Callum and you had King. So you don't play football like that. You play with strikers that know how to use their feet. So are you now gonna? Oh, is this you're gonna use him?
Or is this coming from somewhere else?
But you know what I think it is.
Is it not coming maybe from the top? Because is he going to be coaching Newcastle when they finally take that step into Manchester City, Chelsea realms?
No, he's there for 2 years. He's a stopgap. He's literally just there to.
So I would think it's plausible that he's not making signings with the idea that he is building his own team for himself. Don't you think?
But he's in the job, so
right now,
he has to think like that, because maybe Chris Wood is the 70th minute. It's tough.
And just throw it up there.
Throw him up there, like Andy Carroll used to be for
he might
them.
give them that different dimension, because they already have St. Maximum, they already have Callum Wilson, and they've got their horses. But Callum Wilson injury record is not that great, the greatest. So if you've got St. Maximum and you've got a different option in Chris Wood, I think that does give them a bit of versatility, because also in the set piece, if his games are tough and you've got someone who's good in the box, who's good aerially, Chris Wood more than St. Maxim. So I think options wise and what's available in the market, I think that not the best signing, but I think it does inch them forward in terms of what they already had. And I think it is to weaken Burnley. I think that's the biggest point, to weaken Burnley.
And I'm happy about that. This might just be the season Burnley goes down.
Do you agree?
What do you mean
Burnley needs to go? Like,
why do you guys want to see
the league does not need Burnley, man. They don't. Yeah,
they don't play football.
It's terrorist football, man.
That's not football.
That's just.
Guys don't know.
Sean Dyche has gotten away with it for far too long.
Guys,
it's time for him to go.
If you
time
can
for
do
them
that
to
and
go.
keep them up. I mean, it's not like he's got funds. It's not like he can splash cash and do things differently.
No, Chuck, we've seen teams in this league with that level of funds play football. Blackpool back in the day, Eddie Howe's
and how long did they last?
Bournemouth.
How long did those teams last? Because when they go down, they come back within 1, 2 or 3 seasons. They're back. That is Burnley. And when they're there, they go for a good spell because they know we are not going to fight
for
punch
them.
the big
For
boys.
them, it's not a good idea for them to play that kind of open style football, right? I'm talking about me as a fan, as someone who is watching these games where like one of my teams, like my team is not playing in that game, and I don't have a rooting interest, and I'm just a fan of the game. I don't want to see Burnley. Right now, I can't wait for Fulham to come back into the league because Fulham are destroying guys in the Championship.
And they do what when they get back?
Burnley can go.
And what do they do when they get to the Premier League? They don't do the same thing.
If they come to the Premier League and it's exciting, bro, like I just want exciting games, man.
Guys, the truth is, the only team that has come from the bottom and played exciting football is Leeds, and that was last season.
Are they really playing exciting football?
No, that was
not
last
right
season.
now.
Not right now, because it's tough to do that and stay. Guys,
I don't care if they stay. Chuck. Even if they do it for one season, it's fine.
Guys, this expensive football is why Norwich and Newcastle are where they are. You need to do a Sean Dyche and keep yourself in the Prem.
For how long? How long are we going to watch a team sit back an entire game and just pounce on you?
I have no issue with that. Football allows you to be offensive or defensive. If they're defensive the whole time and they're boring, it's fine. Let that team be that. You as the offensive team, break them down. That's football.
That is not 1990s calculus. That's not what's happening.
But I mean, Diego
there,
Simeone does that and wins leagues.
He does, and wins league. But there's a reason I support the other team in Madrid and not Atletico. I did think of Simeone, for example, to come coach Arsenal because of discipline. But eventually, man, it's just like we are paying to watch this. You know, the game results matter, of course, but it also is entertainment.
I can put my hand up and say this now. I would be a hypocrite criticizing Burnley after watching United for years. There's some games where I'm just watching because I support. Otherwise, it is a ball.
Yeah. United need to get relegated as well.
That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. I'd never say that. So for me,
I'm saying that.
And Arsenal too. All right. So
okay,
guys,
my
bad.
I'm with you with Adama Traore. I don't understand that. And I'm over here like, this is why Barcelona are broke. These kind of moves that don't make any sense, because for me, okay, it's the goal contributions, right? The 2 assists, 3 goals in his last 57 games in the Premier League. That in itself does not draw you to the guy. But his technical ability, Barcelona, of all the institutions in football that exist in the world, maybe bar Ajax, because it came via a man from Ajax. They pride themselves on playing football with the ball. You know, you need to be able to take a pass, even in a tight space. You need to be able to wriggle out of that. You need to be able to give the pass. You need to be able to play the triangles, the tiki-takas. You need to be able to advance the ball. You need to be comfortable with the ball. Whenever I see Adama Traore on the field, like, he's running with the ball and then the ball escapes him as fast as he is, and it's just like, this guy's technical ability is undeveloped. And if somehow, the funny thing is though, he was developed at Barcelona. I don't understand that either. How do you come through La Masia and you end up looking like that? So that's one. The other one would be Diaz at Liverpool. I'm intrigued by that because there's depth now in that front line. Yeah, you know, and Tottenham, there's competition for Mane, for me, where, like we have said, like, Mane's form has been up and down. I still think Mane still has it, and similar to what happened with De Gea when Henderson came back to Manchester United, I think lighting that fire under his belly is going to be good for him. Also, it is an insurance policy. If the worst happens, where Salah does not commit to Liverpool going forward, they've mitigated somewhat, because you can't replace Salah full on, but they've somewhat mitigated that by getting someone in those positions.
Makes sense. All right, guys. So with the window about to close, a couple of days to go now, who do you think desperately needs to make a signing? Which team needs to add to their team, and which player needs to desperately go? I'll go first again. I think Donny van de Beek has to go because, one, the World Cup is coming and I'm sure he'd like to be a part of it. 2, he needs to remind all of us how good he is, because you even forget how you don't even think he's good anymore, because whenever he comes, he's there for 5 minutes, and what can you do in 5 minutes? Not much, right? So I think he needs to reestablish himself, get that spark going in his career, because I think if he stays long and doesn't play elsewhere, this might be a blight in his career, and it might just be one of the worst moves ever. And just not because Van der Sar was signing letters and was happy for Van der Beek to come to United, we're not getting any more ice players. You know what I mean? It's like, guys, don't go there because it's not good for you guys. So I think he needs to do that just for his own good, get a loan spell. I think Palace was interested. Go play with Vieira, with Gallagher and all those talents, and I think it'd be a good team. So
apparently Lampard wants him at Everton, because Lampard is joining.
Is he joining?
Yeah, he's joining Everton. So apparently this morning they got into contact with United and his agent, so he might end up at Everton also. So
who's your choice for a player that needs to make a move, and maybe a team that needs to make a move before deadline?
Spurs need signings, and Arsenal. Spurs, for me, Ndombele needs to leave. Lo Celso needs to leave because Conte doesn't know what to do.
Is Lo Celso fit? He's just not playing because he's not good enough. Because Dele Alli is playing ahead of him.
It's the same. All three, the players you just named out, all three of them, they're not playing because Conte doesn't think they fit into how he wants to play. They don't apply more of themselves on the pitch. So that's the problem with them. So I think any one of those three players need to leave. At least Ndombele got PSG. His dad, Poch, still wants him at PSG. So he might make that move. Imagine that upgrade, right? From no trophy guaranteed to surely I'm getting a double.
There's a cup, maybe even 2 cups.
And a run in the Champions League. I'm taking that any day. Like my agent, I'll take a pay cut.
What do you play at PSG though? Ahead of guys like Herrera. And
Herrera, apparently they want him out. They wanted to send him out on loan.
So switch him out with Ndombele.
Ndombele, and Gini is not getting into the team because he's struggling also. Apparently, I don't know how.
I'd take him on loan at Arsenal, by the way.
Ronaldo.
Yeah, I'd take Herrera at United to come play in a double pivot for me there, next to
that makes a lot of sense.
Either next to Fredo or McTominay. I'd literally
I don't know why the guy left. What was it? Because there was just bad blood? Because it seemed like it wasn't an amicable split. He wanted away at some point.
No, it was a money thing. He wanted 275 a week, and United are like, for a player that starts 50% of our games in a season, you're crazy, So I think Arsenal need players, because I don't get how they loaning out players. I hope they get Arthur in there, maybe Kuleveski.
I don't want Arthur,
or someone. I don't know. I don't know
what Arthur has done at Barcelona or at Juve. He's just a squad player. But
hope someone get a body in there, because you need body.
We need bodies.
Something needs to come into Arsenal. And for me also, I look at like Spurs, and I'm sure Conte is fuming.
Yeah.
Because him accepting the job midway through the season, they promised him backing in January.
There's no way he joins if he doesn't have those guarantees.
And then they go and fumble 2 of his signings. They go to rivals in the... He is fuming, I'm sure, wherever he is.
He's discovering very quickly what it means to coach Spurs.
Daniel Levy, stingy. So...
But to what extent? It doesn't make sense for him to be stingy at this point, because you've got one of the best managers available and he needs funding. He clearly outlined that Chelsea, Tottenham is a big gap, and he needs to bridge that gap. And if you don't do that now in January, by the time the end of the window happens and you're in next season, you're not going to catch up again, because you're going to have to outlay at least 300 mil to catch up with the big boys.
Yeah, because Chelsea, you look at it and you're like, they got Gallagher coming back, right? Saul is going to leave. Their midfield issues are sorted again. You understand? And they have about 50 other players out on loan somewhere in the world.
Good news is that I think they're amending the loan deal, so Chelsea's not going to be able to sign 50 players and loan them out.
Actually, it seems as if they're in line with the new restrictions on that.
Are they currently?
They've done it before it even became a rule, so they're ahead of the curve. They've exploited this loan market up to this point, and kudos to them. Because if there's a loophole and you play by those rules. Which I don't even know how they were just allowed to just keep signing guys when it's very clear they were never going to play. But the model has worked for them, and hopefully kind of the rule does put some people on par again. Arsenal needs to sign someone. Absolutely. When you say Arsenal need bodies, when I say
you guys are
Ronaldo,
saying bodies and you're saying someone, will anyone do? Or do you have like anyone, someone? In
Chuck, at this point, it is a desperate situation because just in the striking position, right? You make it very clear that you are going after Vlahovic, like the entire window. This is the guy. Everyone and their grandmother knows it, and he continuously, we hear reports that him and his agent don't want him to come to Arsenal. This is the same thing that happened with the midfielder who eventually ended up at Juventus. His name is escaping me now.
From where?
From Sassuolo. Anyway, but he also made it clear.
Start the Euros.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll tell you now.
The name will come back. Locatelli.
Yes.
Locatelli was never coming to Arsenal, and he was open about that, but Arsenal was still after him. And at this point, there's, well, time of recording is like 2 days until the window closes. You are still looking for a striker. Unless you go and pay that money directly into La Liga for Isak, maybe, you are stuck with an Aubameyang who's over the hill, in my opinion, at Arsenal. That is done. A Lacazette who does great work everywhere else on the pitch, bar what he's actually there to do, score goals. And you've got Nketiah, who is Nketiah, and who believes should be playing ahead of all these guys and doesn't want to sign a contract. So you are down to absolutely not much, if not nothing at all. So there as well. And then in midfield, I mean, if you're going to be relying on, well, El Neni's coming back from the AFCON, is that a place where you want to be when you're chasing top four? In my opinion, go to AC Milan. Try to sign Frank Kessie because he's also out of contract in the summer. So do something. This is why I mentioned
But apparently
Ronaldo.
he wants to stay in the Italian league. He doesn't want to leave Serie A. So you know where he's going. It's between Inter and
AC
Juve.
and Juve.
Yeah.
But I mean, throw money at him. Like we keep saying, like we were saying before recording, like you throw money at the problem. Usually 9 out of 10 times in football, it works. So if you go to Frank Kessie, like we will double, triple, quadruple your income because Vlahovic was earning £24,000, I believe, at Fiorentina. Now easily that has been quadrupled at Juve. You know, throw money at these guys. Like Arsenal do have the money.
There was also Zakaria. Like
he was right there. He was right there. So yeah, man. I think Arsenal need to make a move in terms of players. No one's really coming to mind right now.
I think Aubameyang actually is another player that needs to leave for also the good of his.
I don't even think he wants to leave.
The good of his career.
He signed the thing.
Yeah, ever since he signed that thing, like, oh my,
it's gone downhill.
Guys, we have it here on record that Arsenal looking for anyone. And if you're available, trials happening at Arsenal
in the next 2 days. You have till midnight Monday. I'm sure, you know.
We do.
Yeah.
I don't expect anything to happen, by the way. Like, I'm at peace. You know, I see Arsenal fans like falling apart on social media. I'm just like, you've experienced this 10 years plus of this, and you still have expectations that are not going to be met. Like, dial down the hope.